Good evening, and welcome into ShwastyStudio's version of Scary Stories. Oh, I am just now realizing how drunk I am.
Jameson will do that to you.
Jameson, goddamn. Yeah, but you know, one of the most important things my mother taught me when I was very young, if you get thrown off a horse, you get back on and show that f***er who's boss. So we're gonna pour a drink. That looks about right? Yeah, let's do that. Good times. I'd like to give a very special shout out to Hong Kong King Kong Ping Pong Ding Dong Gong Ron for ruining my life with this. So,
At least your Tuesday.
or at least my Tuesday, as my producer down here is saying. I have to be at work tomorrow at 7 a.m., so this is going to be kind of fun. But without further ado, scary stories to tell in the dark, or in this case, black light, because I can't fucking read in the dark. The first story is just called Ah.
Ah.
Fighter of the Nightman.
Ah.
Thing. So he gave it a good hard jerk. And it came off in his hand. They let us read this when we were younger. Then he heard something groan and scamper away. Oh, that describes a lot of things. The boy took the toe into the kitchen and showed it to his mother. "It looks nice and plump," he said. "I'll put it in the soup and we'll have it for supper." Because who doesn't like toe soup? That night his father carved the toe into 3 pieces. And they each had a piece. Then they did the dishes, and when it got dark, they went to bed.
So found a toe.
Found a toe, put it in the soup, carved it in 3 pieces, and then they ate it, and then they went to bed.
Who's like, oh, this toe looks good. I'm gonna put it in my mouth.
Who like cultivates toes? Like, where is there like a toe garden somewhere? Florida man grows toe garden. Okay. So then they went to bed. The boy fell asleep almost at once. I wish I had that superpower. But in the middle of the night, a sound awakened him. It was something out in the street. It was a voice, and it was calling to him. "Where is my toe?" Let me take a drink here. We do not make that joke in this household. When the boy heard that, he got very scared, but he thought, it doesn't know where I am. It will never find me, because that's the way horror stories go. Then he heard the voice once more, only now it was closer. "Where is my toe?" it groaned. I'm doing a pretty good groan right there, aren't I? Fuck yeah, I should groan more often. The boy pulled the blankets over his head and closed his eyes. "I'll go to sleep," he thought. "When I awake, it will be gone." It's pretty fucking optimistic, bro. But as soon as he heard the back door open... soon he heard the back door open, and again he heard the voice. "Where is my toe?" it groaned. There's a lot of groaning. Then the boy heard footsteps move through the kitchen, into the dining room, into the living room, into the front hall, then slowly climb the stairs. Obviously wearing heels as well. Closer and closer they came. Soon they were in the upstairs hall. Now they're outside the door. I'm tired of the groaning. Somebody's just going to go, "Where's my toe?" His door opened. Shaking with fear, he listened. The footsteps slowly moved through the dark towards his bed, and then they stopped. "Where is my toe?" There was a slight silence. The boy, with bated breath, calmly pulled down the sheets. He locked eyes with something at the end of his bed. "You've got it!" I actually got her. I f***ing got her. That's great. Take a drink. If you're playing a drinking game with us, by the way, it's drink every time you f***ing want to, because you're an adult and don't need games to get drunk. We solve our problems like adults with alcohol. What do you come for? There was an old woman who lived all by herself, and she was very lonely. Sitting in the kitchen one night, she said, "Oh, I wish I had some company." No sooner had she spoken than down the chimney tumbled 2 feet, which the flesh had rotted from. The old woman's eyes bulged with terror.
Not you.
"Not you!" Then the 2 legs dropped through the hearth and attached themselves to the feet. Then a body tumbled down. 2 arms and a man's head followed. As the old woman watched, the parts came together into a great gangling, flesh-rotting man. The man danced around and around and around the room. Faster and faster he went. Then he stopped and looked into her eyes. What do you come for? She asked in a small voice as she shivered. What do I come for? Said the man, locking eyes with hers and smiling a big tooth grin. I come for you! I don't write this shit. I don't. Drink every time I read a story. This is mostly whiskey. Alright, this is a personal favorite of mine. This is Dodie Walker. I am way too drunk to be doing this.
I think that was the aim.
What?
I think that was the aim.
Yeah, probably.
Start drinking.
You f***ers. Dodie Walker. At least that's how I've always pronounced it in my head. I've never actually read any of this shit out loud, so here we go. There was a haunted house where every night a bloody head fell down the chimney. At least that's what people said. So nobody would stay there overnight. Then a rich man offered $200,000 to whoever would do it. Who is this rich man? Why is he... Okay, motive aside. And this boy said he would try it if he could have his dog there with him. So it was all settled. Apparently that's what constitutes a legal agreement back in the 90s when everyone bought this book. Anyway, the very next night the boy went to the house with his dog. To make it more cheerful, he started a fire in the fireplace. Then he sat in front of the fire and waited. And his dog waited with him. Good Sparky. For a while nothing happened, but a little after midnight he heard someone singing softly and sadly off in the woods. The singing sounded something like this. Dodie Walker. I don't know why I went crooner on that.
Yeah, I would imagine it's probably something like Dodie Walker.
He's a crooner now. It's just somebody singing, told the boy told himself, but he was frightened. Well, I mean, it's the middle of the fucking night, and he's in an abandoned place with, I'm assuming, a lot of property, and it's all of a sudden like, oh yeah, no, it's just someone singing out on the property. That happens all the time. That's a daily occurrence. It's just somebody singing, the boy told himself, but he was frightened. Then the dog answered the song softly and sadly. It sang, Linky Kinky... I'm not going to sing that. Linky Kinky Collie Molly Dingo Dingo. I'm not singing that. The boy could not believe his ears. The boy could not believe his ears. His dog had never uttered a word before. No shit, boy. Then, a few minutes later, he heard the singing again. Now it was closer and louder, but the words were the same. Crooning. Dodie Walker. This time the boy tried to stop his dog from answering. He was afraid that whoever was singing would hear it and would come after them. But his dog paid no attention, and it sang, Linky Kinky, Collie Molly Dingo Dingo. Because they're both crooners. I don't know. Half hour later, the boy heard the sing again. Now it was in the backyard, and the song was the same. Dodie Walker. Again, the boy tried to keep his dog quiet, but the dog sang out louder than ever. And I'm not going to sing out louder than ever. Linky Kinky, Collie Molly Dingo Dingo. Whatever. Soon the boy heard the sing again. Now it was coming down the chimney. Or should I do like an echo effect? Hold on. Dodie Walker. Production value, that's right. We're high value. The dog sang right back, as dogs are wont to do. Linky Kinky Collie Molly Dingo Dingo. Suddenly a bloody head fell out of the chimney. It missed the fire and landed right next to the dog. The dog took one look over it and fell over, dead from fright, because that's what happens. The head turned and stared at the boy. Slowly it turned and opened its mouth, and then it just screamed. That's the end of the story. It f***ing screamed. What do you want me to do here? I put on my robe and wizard hat. This is called, in no affiliation with John Carpenter, this is called not John Carpenter's The Thing. Ted Martin and Sam Miller were good friends. They spent a lot of time together. On this particular night, they were sitting on a fence near the post office talking about one thing and another. Very specific. Good writing. There was a field of turnips across the road. Suddenly, they saw something crawl out of the field and stand up. It looked like a man, but in the dark, it was hard to tell for sure. Then it was gone. But soon it appeared again. It walked halfway across the road and turned around and went back into the field. Then it came out the third time and started towards them. By now, Ted and Sam were scared and they started running. But when they finally stopped, they decided page turn, were being foolish. They weren't sure that they weren't sure what had scared them. So they decided to go back and get a better look. Pretty sure that they did not. I'm taking a drink. You. Pretty soon, they saw it. For it was coming to meet them. It was wearing black pants, a white shirt, and a black suspender. Just one suspender, not two. Sam said, I'm going to try to touch it. Then we'll know if it's real, said the guy who dies first.
Yeah, shit.
He walked up to it and peered into its face. It had bright, penetrating eyes that had sunk deep into its head. It looked like a skeleton. I don't know if it looks like a skeleton or if it is a skeleton. I don't know how you could look. Anyway, Ted took one look and screamed, and again and Sam ran, but this time the skeleton followed them. When they got to Ted's house, they stood in the doorway and watched it. It stayed out in the road for a while. Then it disappeared. A year later, Ted got sick and died. Toward the end of the night, Sam sat up with him. The night Ted died, Sam said he looked just like the skeleton. Dun, dun, dun. That was scary. I actually kind of like this one. This one is cold as clay, but we're taking another drink first. Cold as clay. A farmer had a daughter for whom he cared more than anything on earth. She fell in love with a farmhand named Jim. But the farmer did not think Jim was good enough for his daughter. To keep them apart, he sent her to live with her uncle on the other side of the country. Soon after she left, Jim got sick, and he wasted away and died. Everyone said he died of a broken heart. Oh. The farmer felt so guilty about Jim's death he could not tell his daughter what had happened. She continued to think about Jim and the life they might have had together. One night, many weeks later, there was a knock on her uncle's door. When the girl opened the door, Jim, yeah, the dead one. You didn't see that coming, did you? Plot twist. Jim was standing there. Your father asked me to get you, he said. I came on his best horse. She said, I hope you cleaned it up afterwards. No, she said, is there anything wrong? I don't know, he said. She packed a few things and they left. She rode behind him, clinging to his waist. Soon he complained of a headache. It aches something terrible, he said. She put her hand on his forehead. Why, you're as cold as clay. I hope you're not ill. And she wrapped her handkerchief around his head. They traveled so swiftly that in a few hours they reached the farm, and the girl quickly dismounted and knocked on her door. Her father was startled to see her. Did you send for me? She said. No, I didn't, replied the farmer. She turned to Jim, but he was gone, and so was the horse. They went to the stable to look for them. The horse was there, and it was covered with sweat and trembling with fear, but there was no sign of Jim anywhere. Terrified, her father told her the truth about Jim's death. They quickly went to go see Jim's parents. They decided to exhume and open the grave. The corpse was in the coffin. And around its head, they found the girl's handkerchief. So ends part one. Oh, wow. Drink, and we'll be doing part two here in a momento.